Hello, welcome back. Good afternoon, all. Today, we will in today's session. The agenda is about function. What is function? Why do we need function? Uh, how many types of the function you can have in C language or any language? How functions are declared? By the end of the session, you would be able to understand what is function. Why do we need function? What is the use of function? How many types you can define a function? There are two ways. One is call by value and another is call by reference. In functions, you will see what is the prototype and how function is invoked and what is the meaning of calling function, what is the meaning of called function, and what are the parameter or argument we pass, whether a function can be invoked without parameter or with parameter, means without argument or with argument, and what are the actual argument, what are the copy or dummy argument. Two types of function you will see: library inbuilt functions and user defined function. And what are the advantage and disadvantage of using functions in C? You would be able to understand what is function, how function helps to hide the internal details of the code, so that you can secure your program without showing the internal details or implementation, how function works it. It makes you easy to understand how, yeah, and you can write easily and you can understand it. So working with function, why do we use function? Basically, we prefer to use function when you want to reuse a code, when you want to same code, when you want to repeat the same code again and again. It is always preferable to use function. So you will see how to create a function, how to manipulate it, and you can modify the function by using various methods. Now, what is functions? Function is a subprogram. Like, what is program? A set of statement, or you can say you want to perform a specific task, you write a program. So function is also a part of program. You can say function is a subprogram. C is procedural programming language, modular programming language. C sports uh, modules, C sports module. The function are also known as procedures or module. In different language, they are called different. Like in some language, functions are called procedures. In some language, they are called modules. In C, we call it function. The function is a subprogram. It has a body. In body, you can write down the set of statement you can write a set of statement for a specific task. So only this function will be invoked only. This function will work only when it is called. Otherwise, it won't do anything. Until it won't get a call, the function would not perform anything. So why do we use a function? Why do we prefer function? The same thing we can write in the main code also. When you want to repeat a task, we prefer function. Instead of rewriting the same code again and again, you can make a function, and wherever you need it, you call the function and use that code. It saves memory space, faster in execution, program looks better, is it is easier to maintain a program. You can there is a very flexibility in the programming. A programmer can make a very flexible program. You can easily insert, delete, update any operation using functions. Now, how functions are declared? See, This is like, for example, in this slides, it is first we have written int, then we have written sum, and in this is parenthesis. In parenthesis, we have passed argument and their data type. So int is the return type. Sum is the name of function. Function like as in C language, whenever you use a identifier or variable, first you declare it. Same, whenever you want to use a function, you have to declare it, then you have to use it. So this is, you can say, declaration of function, or you can say it is a function prototype. So whenever you declare a function or variable, first you tell the compiler that this is a function, it will return this thing, and number of parameter we are passing like this. So in this case, how compiler will identify it as a function? This is return type. Return type, it could be anything, int, float, char, whatever you want to return it, start, union. So here in this statement, this function will return int data type, and this is the name of the function. And how function and identifier identified, how they are discriminate in C language. Functions always followed by parenthesis, but identifier doesn't contain parenthesis. So this is the way how to distinguish between function and identifier. Now, in function, you can have argument, a function can have argument or not. If a function have argument, so like this function is having two parameter or two argument and their data type is integer. So if you have one parameter, you will write one parameter. If there are more than one parameter, you can write down separating with commas. So when you declare a function after definition, you use semicolon. This is the ending statement of the function. In C, we can divide a large program into subprograms. They are called modules or they are called functions. So what is function? Function contains set of programming statements and they are enclosed by braces, these opening and closing, like in main program, like we write down int main or void main, then then the body of the program is written between these braces. So same here, the body of the function is kept inside curly braces. A function, you can call a function many times. So this provides reusability of a function, and C is a modular programming language, and this also provides the concept of modularity to C program. So you can say a program is a collection of functions. So in C, we have at least one function that is known as main. But if you want to write more than one function, you can declare it as a user-defined function. Uh, a program, it is a collection of functions. So function is also known as procedure or subroutine in other programming language. Now, what is function? Your function is a block of code, or you can say set of statement which performs some specific task. A function is operated, a function performs a task only when it is called. So a function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. So you can pass data, they are called parameter or argument, into a function. A function with the function could be without parameter or without argument or with arguments. Functions are meant to be perform some specific action, and they are important for reusing code. So once you define a function, you can use it many times. So these are the advantages of using functions. We can call a function many times, and we can call it anywhere in a program. We can track a large C program easily when it is divided into multiple functions. Basically, when you have a large size of code, it is always a good practice. You divide the code into smaller tasks. They are called the function. Write down different functions for different actions so that it is easy to maintain your program. So once you divide your C code into several separate functions, this you can say this is the logical division of your program. It's up to you how do you want to divide your program into different function or different tasks. Every function should be capable of performing some action. Basically, functions are made to perform a specific task or specific action. So it's up to you how do you logically divide your code into separate functions. Functions are made for performing a specific task. Now, we have different type of function. You can divide a function in two categories. One is the library function, and library function are also known as predefined functions. They can declared inside header files like scan app, print app. You will study a different function like in string we have string compare, string length, and in math.h you have square root function, power function. These are the different functions, sine, cos, the trigonometric function. These are the different functions. They are defined inside the library. So they are predefined or inbuilt. They have specific meaning. Whenever you want to use it, you have to include those library before you want to use it. Like if you want to use square root function, to you have to include math.h header file. So in math.h header file, you have a square root function. So you can use square root function inside your code. But first you have to import, you have to include header file math.h. And second type is user defined function. So you are in this session, you are going through a user defined function. In user defined function, you can say it is a function which is defined by a user. Basically, why do we use function? So it must be clear now. Functions reduce the complexity of program. You can logically divide your code into small segments. They are called functions. Functions are made for a specific task. Functions are used for reusability. Function maintain your code, and a program can easily add, delete, update any kind of the operation, whatever the task or the program it is being done by a programmer. So instead of writing thousand line code, whenever you have an error, it is difficult to detect an error. So it is always a good practice. Write down the code into smaller segments, separate the code into smaller segments for a specific task. For a specific task, so, if you face any kind of error, so instead of looking for thousand line of code, you have to look only a specific function. Maybe it contains 8 or 10 lines code. So if you face any error, so you have to check in that specific function instead of in going through the whole program. So that's why we use function. That's why function reduce complexity of the program. Now, in function declaration, how functions are declared, as I have already told you that in the some example, like first would be the return type, and then first statement would be the return in the statement. First we have return type, then name of the function, and then it is followed by parenthesis. Inside parenthesis, it could be a argument and their data type, and inside and then it is followed by opening and closing brace. In opening and closing brace, it contains body of the function. Now, what is return type? If you want to return something from a function, when a function performs a specific task, you want to return something like maybe in data, maybe float, maybe char, and you want to use it, reuse in the main program or in some another function, then you have to write down the return type. Otherwise, if you are not returning anything, then you say void statement. So what is the name of the function? It is like as an identifier name. So it should be a meaningful name so that you would be able to understand what the function does, what the function has a statement inside the body of the function. So what is function name? It denotes the actual name of any function that we are using in the code. The name and parameter of the function contains a function signature. So what is the function signature? Function signature means whatever you are passing the parameter, their data type, their scope, their accessibility, and the type of the argument, they are called signatures of functions. And function body means a function is made for a specific task, for a specific action, so it contain a set of block of statements. They provide a definite task. And parameter, you can say these are the argument, or you can say they are the placeholder which holds the value when a function is invoked. Invoke means when a function is called, so that a function can be called by two ways. One is call by value and call by reference. If you are invoking a function by call by value, so that value will be passed, that value will be held by a parameter. So parameter are known as placeholders. And if you are passing pointer, so that parameter hold address of those passing argument. So in the function, when we invoke the function, when we pass the parameter, they are called actual real parameter. Inside main function, calling function is always inside main, called function is outside of main. A function will be executed only when it gets a call. So calling function is always inside a main because C compiler execute the program from the main function. So whatever you have to execute in the C code, you have to write down in the main program. And the functions, called functions, are always written outside the main program. So in parameter, they are like a placeholder. Whenever we invoke a function, we pass the parameter argument to the function. So they are known as actual parameter, and the placeholder who holds the value of actual parameter, they are called dummy or copy parameter. Although their name, you can have same name also, but compiler will treat them different because the memory would be allocated to individually separately by actual parameter as well as by dummy parameter. You can write down the same name or you can write down different name. Compiler will treat them differently because memory is allocated to each and every member, real argument as well as copy parameter. So it's always a good practice. You should write down the separate name so that if you face any problem, yeah, if you get any error, so it is easy to make out. Now return type. Again, return type is optional. If a function performs some specific task and you want to return the result of a function and you want to reuse it in some another function, so you have to use the return statement. Return and then argument. So return is the keyword and that would be followed by the argument parameter variable name. Like return type, name of function, argument list, and this function body. So this is known as function definition. Name of function is called function call, and return type return type, name of function, and then followed by argument list. They are called function declarations. Now see, what is the definition of the function? First, return type, and then function name and parameter or argument list. In called function, this is the called function, basically body of function. How it is declared? Return type, function name, and then followed by with or without parameter. It depends whether you are passing it or not. If you are not passing it, then it is known as void. Void means nothing. And if you are passing it, then you declare it. Return type, name of function, parameter with or without. In called function, we do not put semicolon because semicolon is always put inside a main when you call a function. But outside the main, when you write a function body, you do not put semicolon. So then it is followed by the curly braces beginning and end, and the body of the function is put inside the curly braces. And there it is called body of the function. Return zero means because the function is returning int value. So here you are using return statement. If a function is returning anything except void, then you have to use the return statement. If the function does not return anything and here you write down void, then you are not supposed to use a return statement. Return statement is used only when a function returning float, char value, then only return statement is used. I hope everybody must understand now what is function, why do we use function, how functions are declared, and what are the actual or copy parameter. Now see, look at our functions, how it works. See here, it is a function, it is called mass. You are comparing two number and finding the largest value, maximum value from two variable. This is return type int. Max is the name of the function. Here you are passing two parameter. One is val1, value 1, and another is val2, value 2. And both arguments have their data type int data type. Their data type is int, val1, val2. Then it is followed by beginning of the braces means you have to write down the function code here. Inside the function, if you have to use any variable, they are called local variable because their scope is their accessibility of variable is within the function. So that's why they are called local variable. Now see, here you have declared a variable result. Result you have declared inside a function max. So this is known as local variable. Its scope is within the only the within the function block. If you use outside it, it will show you some unpredictable garbage value. So now you want to return a max value. So here you are using a code for to check. Here you are testing the code, checking the code. What is the maximum value among two variable? If val1 is greater than val2, then result you are storing the max value val1 in result. Else you are storing the maximum value val2 in result. Now you are returning the result because in the function when you have used return type is int and the result variable is integer data type, so it is returning int value. If this code can also be written like this way also, like if you are not supposed to declare a result, if you do not want to hold value in a variable, you can directly say if val1 greater than val2, return val1 as return val2 also. If you do not want to hold the maximum value in result variable and you want to return it directly, you can return directly also. Now, I hope it must be clear that in C programming language, functions are divided into two types, two categories. One is user-defined function and another is library function. Now, what is user-defined function? User-defined functions basically you can call many times. It reduces the complexity of the program. Basically, it is you reduce the complexity of the program and you can optimize your code and you can call it many times as you want. Library functions are inbuilt functions. They are defined inside the header files like printf, scanf, floor, seal, outs, getters. These are functions inside declared inside these functions are included or defined inside the header file of C. You have already used printer scanner. For printer scanner, you have to include stdio.h header file. Stdio means standard input output. .h stand for header file. Header files are always included above the main program. They are the preprocessor directive, so they are declared with hash character hash include. Printf means if you want to see, if you want to display the output on the monitor, you use printf. If you want to input value from the keyboard, you use scanf. Getters, you will use it in string.h. Getters function is also in stdio, but S stand for string. If you want to input string array of character, you use getters function. Floor ceiling is used to mapping real value to integer value. Floor means it returns the minimum value and seal return the largest value. C program has at least one function. Even if you are not using user-defined function, so there would be only one function is necessary. It is called main function. Main is the main function where C compiler start compiling your C code. For library function, what is the difference between library function and user-defined function? In library function, you are not supposed to write a code. Directly, you can use it. But user-defined function, you have to declare it, you have to call it, you have to write down the code according to your logic, according to your need. Whatever you want to write, you can write it according to your logic in your program. So library functions are always included in the header files. So you have to include it and you have to use directly from the header files. A user-defined function is a type of function in which we have to write a body of function and call the function whenever we require the function to perform some operation in our program. So it is always written, a user-defined function is always written by a user. Uh, if you want to make it as a part of library, you can have a concept of file inclusion. So you can also use that function as a library function also. So this is the advantage of C programming. So you will study in macro, there is a concept of file inclusion. Even you want to use your, if you want to use your function in some another program, so you can include it. You can make your own user-defined library also. So you can include your user-defined function in the library and you can use in some another program also. So In C programming, we have user defined function. So in user defined functions, में it is made of three components. Whenever you use a user-defined function, you have to use the three statements. One is function declaration. It is called function prototype. Function declaration is called function prototype. It means whenever you it is like a normal practice as you declare identifier. So whenever you want to use a variable, first you declare it, because first you tell the compiler these are the variable of the data type. So if you are using wrongly, to compiler will detect an error. To save here, uh, uh, before you use it, you declare a function. It is called function prototype. Again, you are explaining, telling compiler this is the function, this is the return type, these are the argument. And second is function definition, and third is function call. So now in function declaration means you are writing a name of program. So it is a compulsory part for using functions in code. In the function declaration, we specify the name of the function that we are going to use in our program, like a variable declaration. We cannot use a function unless it is declared in a program. Similar, like if you want to use a variable in your program, like suppose you want to add two number and you directly say c equal to a plus b, and you have not declared a b c, the compiler will give you an error. So same here, if you want to use a function and if you are not declared it, so you cannot use it. So it is a compulsory part of the function. Before use it, you have to declare it. A function declaration is also called function prototype. And it is done like as normal identifier declaration practice after main, or if you want to use it in number of times, so even you can make it globally before you can declare it after main, or you can declare it above main also. So you know how functions are declared, a return type, and then function name. It is followed by argument list and their data type. Only even you in the declaration part, if you are using argument, you are supposed to declare only their data type and separate with them commas, how many parameter, how many argument are using it. Like name of parameter is optional. Only you can give the data type. Data type is compulsory. So return type, as you know, it is the data type of the value function, which is given back to the main program where the function is called, and function name is followed by parenthesis. Like here you are including hash include, and before main you are declaring a function return type. This is int add. It means add is a function, name of the function, and it is followed by two argument a and b, that would be int data type. Even this statement can also be declared like this way also, int add int comma int. If you are not supposed to use identifier name, you can leave it, so it won't produce any error, it won't give you any error. uh, this statement is also valid. You can write down like int comma int. So identifier name is optional here at the time of declaration, but the data type must be included, because in the function declaration, in the function prototype, you are telling the compiler we are using two argument and their data would be int data type. And second is function definition. In function definition means we are writing the body of function, means whatever you want to ask the function to do a specific action, for that action the body will contain the statement, and that action, that specific action will be that specific task, that specific action will be executed by a function. The body of function consists of statements which are going to perform a specific task. Like in the previous slide, you have seen a function max is returning the maximum value. So you have written a code how to find the max value among two variables. So you are comparing two variable and you are storing the result in a result variable. This is the code to find the maximum value. The same here, whatever you want to perform a specific task, you have to write the logic or statement inside the body of function. So a function body consists of single or block of statement. A function could be a single statement or block of statement. So it is a mandatory part of the function. So see, first you have declared a function, a return type, name of the function, and there are argument list. So in called function, you have written the body of the function. Inside the body of function, you have declared a variable c and you are storing the result of a plus b in variable c because return type in the function you have written int, so you are returning the result of addition of two variable which has been stored in C. So you are returning the result of addition of two number by using return statement. So return and then followed by identifier. So this is the body of the function. You are adding two number inside the function. So whatever you want to do it, so you have to write down the code for that specific function inside parentheses, opening and closing braces, curly braces. Now, function doesn't do anything. Function performs action only when it is invoked, when it is called. So in C, there are two ways to invoke a function. One is call by value and another is call by reference. Whether it is a call by value or call by reference, it won't do anything. Call function won't do anything unless until it doesn't get a call. So whenever it get a call, then only it comes in action and the task is executed. So a function call means calling a function. Like if someone calls you, then only you, if somebody want to talks to you, if somebody want to talks to you, so he or she whatever calls you, then you reply it. Same here, functions when if you want to perform a function, the function must be called. Without calling, called function will not do anything. So a function call means calling a function whenever it is required in a program. Whenever we call a function, it performs an operation for which it was designed. A function call is an optional part of program. To see, we here you are seeing the example of addition of two number. So in functions we have three parts. First is the declaration. So before above main you have declared the function int add and then followed by two parameter a and b. So in the now in the then you see the code function body and here you are saying how function is invoked. How function is invoked. It is always invoked inside the main program. So here the name of the function is add, and you are passing two values 4 and 5. 4 will be copied in the code function A, and 5 will be copied in code function in B. So this is called call by value. You are passing value. 4 and 5 are known as actual value, and the A and B are known as uh, dummy parameter or formal parameter. They are holding the value. They are placeholder. They are holding the value and return C that result would be given to variable result, and in the main result will see result will hold the value of a plus b. Now, what would be the result here? 4 plus 5, 9. Result will hold 9. So if you see the result, if you want to see the value of the result by using printf statement, you can see the result using printf statement after calling the function. So this is the whole how these were the three part of the functions: function declaration, function body, and function call. Function declaration is done before main. Function body is written maybe anywhere, maybe before main or after main, but it should be outside of main. And function call should always be inside main. Now see, look at the complete code. So here you are adding header files. These are stdio.h, and here you are declaring a function, and function is return type is int, name of the function is add. You are passing two parameter, one is a and another is b, and the data type is int. Again, you can write down like this way also: int add int comma int. A and B are optional. If you do not want to give the identifier names at the time of declaration, it is optional. Now, in the main, you have declared a variable A, which is holding initial value 10, and another variable B, which is holding value 20. So here you have declared a variable int c. Now equal to, you are calling a function add and passing the parameter a and b whose values are 10 and 20. So instead of 10 or 20, you can write down a and b also. A and b, since it is declared inside the main, these are the actual parameter or actual values, actual parameters. And here you are calling a function add, and you are passing value 10 and 20, and after the body after the when this function add will be invoked, add will execute the code, and the result will be given to variable c. In the left hand side, whenever you invoke a function, the return statement will return the result to variable c. So once c receive the result, you can see the output of c by using printf statement. So now, whenever the function get calls, it goes to the called function. Now, what is the called function? Return type int add. Here you are also declaring a variable a and b. If you want to give different name, you can give different name also, but compiler is treating them, even you are giving the same name, but compiler will be treating them differently. Why? Because compiler will reserve memory space for functions parameter differently, for actual parameter differently. So 10 will be copied in A, and 20, whatever you are passing the value 10 and 20. If you are passing 10 and 20, so 10 will be copied into A and 20 will be copied into B. These A and B parameter, which we have declared in called function, this is known as called function. They are called copy parameter or dummy parameter. So inside the function, we have declared a local variable. It is C. C is holding the result of A and B. So after this statement is executed and the result is stored in the C variable, so the return statement will give the result to the calling function. Here we are also the receiver element, the receiver variable is C, and you can see the result of C after printf statement. This is the way how function works in the main program. Uh, uh, how function is invoked. Before main, you declare a function. So function declaration is must. it is compulsory. If you do not use declaration of function, you cannot use them. It will give you error. And calling is done inside main and call function is done outside the main. So this is the way how to write a function. So you can write function anywhere, before main or after main. See, here it is written after main and here in this example it is written before main. So you can write out anywhere, but it should be outside of main. So here the return type is int, function name is sum, and it could be anything, add, sum, it's up to you. Whatever you want to give the name of the function, you can give it. The parameters are a and b, and here you are, in the previous example, in the add, you are declaring a local variable c and you are storing the result in C. But without, if you do not want to store the result in another variable, directly you can add it and return the result. So this return a plus b, this would also be given the result of a plus b wherever the function is invoked to the left parameter of the function. Or even if you do not want to hold the result of function to some variable, you can directly call the function and you can get the result directly to the function. Like here in the main, you have given a variable add here, int add equal to sum 10 30. So result will be return to a variable add, return a plus b. This result will be given to add variable. Even if you want to skip the this statement, you can directly write it printf sum is percentage d slash n comma sum 10 30. Inside the printf statement, you invoke a function and the return statement will give the result directly to function also. So there are different ways for using function, for invoking function. A C function, as I have already told you, it may or may not return a value. If it doesn't return a value, instead of int float, we write void. Void means return type is nothing. Like in this example, here the function name is hello. It is of data type void. Void means function will not return anything, means you will not use return statement inside a function. Void function name is hello, and then it is followed by curly braces, printf hello, hello C. So whenever this function will be invoked, it will print a statement, and after execute, the control automatically comes to the main wherever it is called after followed by that statement. If you want to return anything which you want to use it, reuse it, then you write down the int float statement. If you do not want to return anything, you write void statement. Like here, int get, and then you are writing down, you are returning a value, return 10. So this is also a way to return a value from a function. If you do not want to perform anything, only just want to return a numeric value, so you can directly return numeric value also, int number also. So here we are returning 10 as a value, so return type is int. If you want to return a float value, like if you say float get return 2.5, because you are returning 2.5, and that's why we have written the data type is float. Like float get, so inside the body you are returning 10.2. Since 10.2 is a float value, so that's why we have written float. if function returns any data type in float, you have to write down. If function is not returning any data type, then you have to write down void. You have to use void. So there are different type of the functions you can invoke it. So a function has no argument as no return value. A function has argument. A function has no argument but has a return value. A function has argument but has no return type. A function has argument and has return type. Like in the previous example, you have seen function was like in sum, in max, we were passing the parameter and we were returning the result. So that example comes under category of fourth category. A function has argument and has return value. And if I'm invoking a function hello, where hello is not returning anything. Uh, uh, hello function is not returning anything, so that comes under category of no argument, no return type. So see, look at here, see another example, function without argument and without return value. So you have to declare a function. So here you are declaring a function, return type is void, means function is not returning anything, and the name of the function is sum, and followed by parenthesis. You are not passing any argument. So when C compiler start compiling from the main program, first it will print statement going to calculate the sum of two number. Then control comes to the calling function sum. So this is the calling statement. This is the sum followed by parenthesis. This is calling statement. How would you identify this is name of function or identifier? Function is always followed by parenthesis. So this is calling function without parameter. Now the control directly goes to body of the function, called function. Here it is void. It is doing AB, asking user input two value from the keyboard and storing the result and printing it. This adding two number. The result will be executed here. After doing the task, the control comes after the sum statement. And this is the end of C program. Now the control come out from the program. Next example is a function without parameter with return type. So same here, example we are considering here adding two number, function is sum. Since there is no parameter, but it returns, so return type is int. So now becomes under main in main we have declared a variable result. So first it will print the statement going to calculate the sum of two number. Now the function is invoked sum, and the control comes outside the main, and the called function the control comes in the sum. So here you have declared two variable adding it, and the result you are not printing inside the sum function, and the result you are retrieving outside. Means you are retrieving the result of this function inside the main program. So when the function get called, the result return statement will give the result to the result variable. Now you can see the output of the result by using printf statement. So after result will be printed and then you come out from main program. Like this way, if you are entering 1024, so you will get 34. Next, you are passing the argument, but you are not returning any value. So here you are not returning any value, so that's why the return type is void. Function name is sum. So here, like you have declared two parameter, and the data type would be int. Now in main, you have declared AB and result variable. So first it will print going to calculate the sum of two number. Then it says enter two number. So A and B is holding the value. And here you are invoking a function sum, and A and B are the actual parameter. Whatever you are inputting it, that value would be given to A and B variable. So this is calling function. So once it get called, the control goes to the called functions, and called function is like void, return type is void, name of the function is sum. The value of A is copied to A. Inside the main, A and B are the actual parameter. Outside the main, A and B are the dummy parameter, copy parameter. They are holding the value of A and B. You can have same name or you can give different name. Even if you give same name, compiler will treat them differently because compiler will allocate memory these actual parameter and dummy parameter differently. So they would be treated differently. Now the result of A and B is printed inside the function. Next example for function with argument with return type. So this example you have seen earlier also. The return type is int, function name is sum. You are passing two parameter and their data type is int. Here you have declared a function. So this is called function prototype. When compiler start compiling from main, so you have declared three variable A, B result. So first it will print, it will a statement going to calculate the sum of two number. Now it is asking you enter two number. You are inputting two number A and B. Now this function will be invoked sum and the value of A and B will be passed. This is called calling function call by value, and the whenever function is invoked, the control goes to outside the main function. In the called function means the function will be invoked, will be executed. Return type is int, function name is this, the value of A is copied to A parameter, B is copied to B, and the result of and A plus B, whatever you want to perform an action, that statement, the result of A plus will be given to result variable. And if you want to see the output, what the result is holding, you can say printf statement. So after printf, the control comes to end of C program. So here, as I have already told you, when we invoke a function and when we pass the parameter inside the main, they are called actual parameter. Like in the examples, you are here in the main program, you are calling a function, you are passing 10 and 30. 10 and 30 are called actual parameters. And A and B are holding the value, they are called dummy, copy, or formal parameters. So here in today's session, we have discussed all function call by values. We are passing call by values. So what does it mean call by value? Call by value means the value of the actual parameter is copied to the formal parameter. So value of variable in the function is called in the call by value method. In call by value method, we cannot, this is the limitation drawback of the function by using call by value, we cannot modify the value of actual parameter by the formal parameter. As I have already told you, in call by value, memory is allocated differently to formal and actual parameter. Even if you use same name, compiler will treat that differently. These all are example of call by value. Now here it is an example of function swap. Swap means you are exchanging the value of two variable. Let here we have declared a variable function swap. Return type is void. Function name is swap. We are passing two parameter of data type is int. Here inside main we have declared A and B variables. A is holding value 10, B is holding 20. Before swap, you are printing the value of A and B, it will print 10, 20. Now it is invoked, swap is invoked, you are passing 10 and 20. So in the swap function, we have taken a temporary variable and in temp we are storing the value of A, and A we are holding B and the value of temp will be copied B. So after this statement will be executed, so A will be, the value of A will hold B and B will hold A. Means 10, if you are passing 10 and 20. So after functions swap, after this statement, when this statement will be printed, printf, after the functions, so here it will print 2010 when the function is invoked. After invoked, it will print 2010 when the control comes to the main program after calling function. Again, you are printing, swapping in main A and B. See, A and B are the local parameter of the main program. Even after swapping, even after swap, when the function is invoked back to the main program, if you see the value of A and B, it will print 10 and 20. Why? Because A and B are the local variable, local parameter, local argument to main program. So these value won't get modified even after swap functions. So in call by value, you cannot modify the value. This is the drawback in calling the functions. If you want to modify a value, you have to use call by reference. As you know what is call by reference? Call by reference means you are passing the address of a function. So here in call by reference, return type is void, function name is swap, and you are passing two parameter integer and they are of pointer type. So in main, you have given, you have declared A and B and you have initialized A and B by 10 and 20. So before swapping, you are printing it, so it will show you 10, 20. So in swap, here you are not writing A comma B. If you write A, B, then you are passing value. If you are writing ampersand A, ampersand B, so it means call by reference. You are passing the address. So you are passing the address of memory location of A and B. So since you are passing an address, so when you invoke a function, the A and B are known as pointer variable. A and B are known as pointer variable. What is pointer? A pointer is a variable that holds the address of another variable. So in tab, after tab will be holding the value of A, and in A, it will hold the value of B. Star B means value at A, value at B. So once then you print, after swap you print here A and B, it will show you 2010. Even in call by reference, when this functions comes inside main, after swap, it will show you 2010. In call by reference, value get modified, but in call by value do not get modified. So this is the difference between call by value and call by reference. In call by value, value is passed. In call by reference, address is passed. So whatever the value get modified, that value will be reflected inside the main program also. So that's why in call by reference, value get modified, but in call by value, value do not get modified because memory locations are allocated differently to different variable. Inside main, actual parameter get different address, and copy parameter also get different address. So whenever you want to use library function, you have to use the you have to include library function like for printf, scanf. You have to include stdio.h.h, the extension for header file. These are the some common header files which are being used by a programmer in C language. Conio.h console for clear screen. For getch, you use conio.h, stdio for printf, scanf, stdlib, you will use memory for memory allocation function, dynamic memory allocation function, exit, calloc, malloc, string for string related functions, you will use string.h, time.h will contains time related function, math.h contains math related function, trigonometry, square root, pow, These are the libraries. C type, like is alpha. I have I had already used C type.h header file in the practical session. So these are the libraries which have some specific function. So if you want to use it, you have to include it. Like for signal, you have to use signal.h. For error tracing, you have to use this one value. If you want to use local function, you have to include it. Assert, like all diagnostic troubleshooting function, you want to diagnose it, you can use this header files. Now you must have understood now what is the use of using functions. Function reduce the complexity of program. Functions reduce the complexity of program, and functions are used for reusability also. And functions give you flexibility to a programmer. They can design a program in very efficient manner by dividing the task into different functions. So function can reduce the repetition of the same statement in the program. Functions makes code readable. There is no fixed number of calling function. It can be called as many times as you want. The function reduce the size of the program. Once the function is declared, you can use it without thinking about the internal working of the functions. So these are the advantages of using functions. So I hope everyone must understood everybody must have understood what is function, how it is declared, what is calling function, what is called function, what is function prototype. Why do we use function? Any doubt regarding today's sessions? Any doubt? Anyone has doubt regarding today's sessions? No. Yes, today we do not have any C lab class. Any doubt regarding functions or anything else? When we have to use a function, when you have a complex program and you want to make it, you want to reduce the complexity of your code, it's better you divide your complete program in small module or in small function so that maintenance, debugging, reusability concept can be implemented in your code. When you have a like complete applications, like you want to design banking application, railway reservation, so there would be a lot of functions. So it's always a good practice perform different tasks in by making different functions. Like you want to make a student application like admissions process, you want to edit it, you want to modify it, you want to see the status, like you have a different kind of function, so you can write down different function for different tasks. Like for banking up you want registrations, you want to see the bank status, you want to see the bank balance, you want to withdraw, you want to deposit, you can have different function for different tasks. Anybody else have any doubts? Otherwise, we do end the session. Okay then. Thank you. Let us end the session.